Hello, my name is David Markarian. I'm the designer of the MyoVision 3G system. I'm going to show you how to set up the static scanning 3G system now. The first thing you want to know is some of the features. The power LED, the connect status tells you when it's green that it's connected. The start button turns the device on and allows you to mark when you're at different levels. The select switch you should never have to move, but that tells you whether it's a left or right scanner. It's the left position is your left scanner, which is marked as yellow for your left. You may be required to change it on occasion. That's a power switch right there. That's a travel switch it's called. You use a pen to switch it off so that you can, if you want to travel with it, by hitting the start button, it will not turn on the device. On the opposite side, you see the connect or bind button, which you used only once, typically to bind or connect the actual device to the physio monitor, which changes it from a flashing red to a green light. You do that using the software. It's very quick and easy to do, and again, once you've done it once, you never have to do it again. And they do come sometimes already connected to the computer through the physio monitor, so you won't have to go through that process. By turning it on, if it's green, you should have no problem. It's already bound. So first thing you want to do is install the batteries. They're marked when you open the box. You unscrew the screw, and they're marked. The direction to place them is in the actual case. It's marked as plus and minus. And all you have to do is to make sure to put the batteries in the correct direction. Using the little red ribbons, that allows you to get the batteries out easier. Now, the first time you place them in, it may be a little bit difficult to get them in. They do have to wear their way in sometimes, and so they may be a little bit harder to get in, but that will break in over time and they'll fit in easily. And you can make sure that the red ribbons are kind of held to the side when you place it down so that you can put the cover back on. A little thumb screw screws it down, and that's it. You're all ready to go. Make sure to do it with both scanners so you're ready to perform the tests. And you can see there's 5 electrodes on the device. These 5 electrodes, the center ground is what we have applied patents for, and that is something that allows you to measure both on a concave and convex area 2 different levels simultaneously. So you can see as you touch down to the skin, you're able to measure. Also, in addition to that, the electrodes, each one individually, will rotate to a certain degree amongst its axis to allow for connection to different parts of the body so that the electrodes line up and adjust to the contour of the body. You can see how they do move around to a certain degree. That's normal. You want to expect that. These electrodes will last anywhere from 6 months to 2 years, depending how you use them, and they're very easy to replace. They pop off. You may need to use a small screwdriver to pop them off sometimes, but in general you can just remove them with your hand. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we take our next probe, make sure we place the batteries in it. We're going to make sure to turn the device on. You can put your fingers, as far as holding it, you can put your hand on it like that. There's small divots that allow you to hold it in your hand in this manner. And you can use your middle finger to actually press the button if you like. Sometimes people like to hold it like in a different fashion where they put their hand around it the other way, and just find whichever method is comfortable. Again, the select switch you want to make sure is set to the proper setting, and it should be from the factory setup, so the yellow one is your left probe, and again, that switch, when you look inside there, should be to the left to match up with the yellow. In case you ever receive a different one, there has to be a left and a right, so make sure that those are different. You can see there that there's left and right. That one's the right one, so the switch is to the right. First thing you do once the power is on is you select the power on switch by simply using a pen to turn it on. That is a travel switch you use if you're going to use it for screening or moving it around. Normally you leave it in the on position and just use the start button to turn on the device, you can see the flashing LED indicates that the device is not bound or is not linked or connected to the physio monitor. Again, the connection process is required once. We'll turn the power on to both devices before we go through the process of doing the linking or binding or connecting process. And you can see there's no reason to use the travel switch unless you are always traveling with the device. If you want to shut them off, you can also hold the buttons down for 4 seconds and it'll shut off. They will shut off on their own automatically. Again, if you want to travel, you can flip off the switch on that side. You can then, you'll find that pressing the buttons does not turn the devices on. But you also can, if you are using it in a clinical setting, leave the power switch in the on position, and the start buttons, as long as there's no pressure on them, will never turn on, so you don't have to worry about the batteries going dead. Now we're going to prepare the static scanning device for use. You can see with this one turned on, the right green light is set to connect, which means that the device is already bound, and that means that your device is ready to be used. If you turn them on and you find that one of them is not connected, that's with the physio monitor plugged in and turned on, connected to the computer, then you have to go through the process of binding or linking the devices to the computer's physio monitor and software. The process is very simple. This shows the dynamic connected and the range of motion. So the first thing you want to do is you run the MyoVision software and make sure that the physio monitor is turned on prior to entering the software. It's always best to just leave the physio monitor on the whole time and never turn it off. You cannot do any damage to it at all to leave it on at all times. Next thing you do is you want to click on the setup and settings and go under 3G devices. Here's where you're going to want to do the connect status. You're going to connect up the device to the software. So the power is on. We confirm that by moving the switch to the right and then press the start button to actually turn the device on. And so once you've got the power switch on, we simply then hit the start button and you'll see the lights turn on. That indicates that it's actually functional. If the switch was not turned on, the lights would not turn on. So we again hit the start button. You can see they both come on. That indicates that the device is connected to the physio monitor and there's nothing further you have to do. You can use the device. Now if the right light LED did not light up, it was red instead of green, then you'd have to go through the process, flashing red, of actually going through the linking process to the physio monitor. It's very simple. All you have to do is, when you're in the software, you hold that down, the little button on the right, until you see the LED turn solid red. If it goes flashing again, you have to simply hold it down again until it goes solid. At that point, you go to the software, where you observe the following screen. So in the software, you can see it's got a list of all the different devices: the FlexVision, the DynaVision, and the ScanVision. We're focused on the ScanVision here because we're binding the ScanVision. So you're going to take the ScanVision in your hand. Here's our left one marked with a yellow, and simply turn it on by hitting the start button. And if you see a flashing red light, you click on the connect button. Once you've made the light solid red by holding down the button, and you can see it automatically turns on the green light on the far right, and you're all set. Now you pick up the other scanner, which is your right scanner. You turn it on by hitting the start button. You can see it's flashing. Now we're going to press the button in for the connect switch, so we have a solid red, and then click on link or connect, and suddenly you'll see that it's automatically connected. Once you've done this one time, you will not have to do it again. Once you're done binding, you no longer have to worry about it. You'll simply use the device and make sure the physio monitor is shut on before you run the software. Now we're going to go through and link the rest of the devices, but at this point you're ready to use the ScanVision.